We're going to make a 5-sided box. This is a tutorial in OnShape. So click on this word OnShape, double click, and it takes you to this manager. Just to be mean, I'm going to delete the 5-sided box that's there, and then I'm going to recreate it. So create, document, 5-side box. So give it a name, create public document. That's a reminder that this is public, it's not private, anybody can get to it. I'm going to wipe out these two planes, and I'm going to start a sketch in the top plane. The dialog box is here. There's a little blue field that asks a question, which plane? Well, I click on top and it says fills that in, top plane. I'm going to click on the word top and that straightens things up. I'm going to go get the rectangle tool. Pull a rectangle. Get the dimension tool. Touch, pull, type. This is going to be a 6-inch box in this dimension. We've still got the dimension tool. Let's make it a 4-inch box in this dimension. Let's turn off the top plane. Let's click on the word top, and that sort of straightens things up. In my version of making a 5-sided box, I use at this point the click on this down arrow. There's a bunch of more things hidden. I'm going to use the offset tool. I'm going to pick all 4 sides. I'm going to, in this case, it offsets inward. I could have offset outward, but I want inward. Then I click on the dimension and type in 0.219 and enter. Now, what kind of dimension is 0.219? When I measure my 1/4-inch plastic, it's 0.219. What can I say? Go get the rectangle tool and make these little squares. Click, click. Make real sure you pick the points and wait for it to indicate that you have picked it. Don't drop it off here. Click like that. Everything will turn black if you've done it right. We're done with the sketch. Click on the green check mark. Right mouse anywhere. Put it in isometric. Extrude. Pick 1, 2, 3 of these little figures. How far do we want to extrude it? 2 inches. Click green check mark. A lot of things just happened. Part 1 showed up. I did a right mouse. Let's rename it left. Oops. FT. Return. And sketch 1 disappeared. Let's make it reappear by clicking on the little eyeball. Yeah. Double click on extrude 1. We get to edit it and actually get a twofer. We had 3 things picked. Now we're going to have 6 things picked. Green check mark. That new thing that just appeared, rename. Use right. Let's turn off left and right. Eyeball, eyeball. Do a new extrude. Pick, 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 green check mark. Let's bring back the left and right. Oops, I meant for these parts to be taller. This part is the back. Let's right mouse rename. He's BACK. This part, right mouse, escape, escape. Click, click. Rename front. Let's just confirm that is the front. Yes, all right. I'm going to introduce the concept here of variables. We are going to parameterize this thing. Right now we're going to make two variables. One is going to be called T. That's the thickness, 0.219. We've already put that in, but we're going to go back and make sure. Green check mark. New variable, H. I want it to be 2 inches. Green check mark. Notice that these variables came in here in chronological order, but we need to change the order and get these variables to be declared ahead of time before we use them. Now we go back to Sketch, double click on this dimension, type pound, and a list comes up. We want that to be T, so that if you want to make a different box with different thickness, you'll get it. And let's go to extrude 1, double click down here where it says depth, type in pound, and let's pick 2. Green check mark. Down here where it says extrude 2, here where it says 1 inch, type pound, pick 2, and you'll see that the short sides get longer, taller. Just to demonstrate, let's change that the 2-inch height to be 2.5. The box gets taller. I don't really want that, so I click undo and it gets shorter. That's the way we like. Right mouse on this, hide all parts. We're still looking at the sketch 1. We now want to do our final extrude with all of these, not just, you don't have to pick them one at a time, you can pick them all at once. Here, type pound and pick 0.219. I guess green check mark. There we go. Let's label part 5 to be bottom. Enter. Show all parts. Everything's done now except the box joints. On my computer, I've got some of these custom features. You won't have any when you start. There'll only be a plus sign there. And so click on that plus sign and type in a search for joint. There'll be a lot of joints. So modify the search box, space, enter, This is the one we're using. Okay, and you'll get an addition to this list. Click on box joint. Here's the dialog. Very important, this down arrow needs to remain down or up, but it needs to be the same for your entire project. Second important point, always pick the short piece and then the long piece. So that's right, then front, in that order. I don't want 4, I want 3 here. You see how that changed? Green check mark. Let's create a variable. We want the number of, so it's not a length, it's not an angle, it's a pure number. And the name of that will be number of vertical joints. We're going to need that number over and over, and it will be 3. Okay, green check mark. Now let's go back to the one box joint. Oh, we have to move this thing up into this area so that we can use it later. Double click on box joint. Pound. Pick it from the list. Green check mark. New box joint. Pick the short end, then the long end. That's my convention. Pick pound. Number vertical joints. Green check mark. New box joint. Pick the short end, then the long end. Click here. Pound. Number vertical joints. Green check mark. Box joint, short end, then long end. Pound. Return. Oops. Number vertical joint. It did not let me do the wrong thing. I had to pick a pure number. 4 more times. Be patient. Box joint. In this case, I'm always going to pick the bottom. I want 5 for this longer side. I see I'm always going to pick the bottom first, just as a convention. So bottom, then back. Make it be 5. Green check mark. Bottom, then back. I like 4 for this one. Last box joint. Bottom, then short side. 4 is my choice. Yes. So I'm going to do a right mouse. Isometric will get this thing squared up. We don't need to look at the sketch anymore. That goes away. We don't really need to look at the origin anymore. Green eyeball, get rid of the origin. Let's just confirm. I'm going to quickly turn off these parts. These left and right should be identical. They are. So we're just checking. The back and front should be identical. They are. Okay, left. Now it's time to export these things. Right mouse on that surface. Export. Give it a name. L-E-F-T. We don't have to export the left and right. We only need to export the left, and then we make 2 of them. check mark, check mark. Do you see them? Export. Turn off the left, bring in the back, mouse over to this surface, right mouse, export, DXF. This is the back. Export. We're working with the mouse and it gives that little animation that these parts are going in. We're working, it's a Mac. Bring this on, mouse to this surface, right mouse, export DXF, give it a name, export, it flies up, zoom, and we're done. So I can click and say stop record.